The body includes the following: opening paragraph that gives the subject to the letter, middle paragraph that develops the letter, then lastly, the closing paragraph that summarizes, stresses, and generates goodwill. After writing the body of the business letter, you must include, after writing the body of the business letter, you must include the complementary clause. The complementary clause, it should be yours sincerely. If someone has been named in the salutation, if dear sir or madam has been used in the letter, should end with yours faithfully. Then, after writing all this, you put your signature. The sender should sign a name above the typed name. The typed name, this gives the initial and name of the sender and followed by sender's position in the company, e.g. Dr., Miss, Mr. or Mrs. I thank you.
Once again, good morning to all ladies and gentlemen, and again, all protocols observed. My presentation today is on non-verbal communication. I know we all understand what is non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication, these are messages which we convey to others every day without any word being uttered. We understand about that, huh? And there is another definition that we can give to non-verbal communication as messages that we communicate. It's a communication process of sending and receiving wordless messages while we understand each other. On those definitions, I'm loving the word sending and receiving wordless messages while understanding each other. We all know that when we are using non-verbal communication, usually it is accompanied by words. If I can talk, then I can use my head, I can use my hand, I can use any body part to accompany any way which I'm talking to anybody. I can give an example. Here the sellotape. I can use my finger to say, can you? And already the person is trying to understand what I'm saying. I haven't said anything that I want you to give me, but by pointing at that thing, already you're trying to understand and look around what is around you so that you can understand, okay, she needs something which is around me, which is a sellotape that I will be pointing at. There are many examples of non-verbal communication. We have silence, we have paralanguage, we have body movements, we have facial expression, we have touching, we have distance, we have zone of human space, we have sitting, clothing, objects, and as well time. So I will talk one at a time. Although my time is limited, but I'll try to make you understand all these examples of non-verbal communication. About silence, what can we say about silence? When we talk about silence, we all know children. If I can say to a child, hey, what are you doing? Already, that child, you can observe is silent. you observe silence on him or her, because sometimes maybe she will be misbehaving or doing something else. Already you can see him or her keeping quiet. That shows something already. Maybe that child is afraid. Maybe that child is sometimes rude. Silence can mean rudeness. And silence can mean respect as well. Then we go to para-language. Para-language, usually, it is accompanied by words. When we are talking, we usually do our para-language. I can give an example of saying, when I'm angry, I can use a high tone of voice to show that I'm angry. That's para-language. And when I'm sad or I'm sick, or maybe I'm scared, my voice can show that I'm scared or I'm not feeling well. That's part of a para-language. Then there is body movements. When we talk about body movements, there is the use of our hands, the use of our legs, the use of our arms to express what we are trying to say. We all know when we are shy, you can see ladies by spreading their arms or maybe by crossing their legs that show you are shy. Then touch, it shows. I can give an example of saying this one. Maybe I want to comfort him. Then I'll say by this way of touching. Then that shows I'm comforting him. Then there's a distance. The distance that we give to our friends, to our lovers, to anybody that we know, it can show that there is that distance can show. Then we are sitting as well. The way we sit can say something. The way we clothe, maybe going weddings, churches, or even coming to school, it shows something as well. But in all this that you can say about non-verbal communication, they say a lot, but on those non-verbal communication, not all action that we do can show what exactly is happening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mama, for your effort. An interesting presentation. Right, our next presenter.
Wow, my name is and I'm going to present on communication model. And I will be explaining its communication process terms. First, we have a sender, a transmitter, or communicator. As we know that this is the source of the message, whereby one thinks the idea of the message, and then the one wishes to communicate. And the sender is also the one who sends both the message and the channel. And the message itself, it is the information or idea that is being sent. And the second stage is encoding. When the message has been, when the sender has come with the idea of the message, he then encodes the message. The encoding, it is the creation and sending of the message. And then after that, the message has been created, the sender he then has to choose the channel that he can use to send the message. And in channel, it is a complex concept which involves the basic factor, that is our 5 senses, non-verbal behaviors like body postures, gestures, facial expressions. And there is a form of communication also, such as writing, speaking, and the medium of communication such as television, radios, books, etc. The message that is sent can either be formal or informal. Okay. After the message has been sent, there's then a receiver The receiver is the one who accepts the message and then decodes it. Decoding it involves the use of interpreting and translating the message in a way that it has sense or meaning to be understood. And then after that, he has to respond to the original message that's in the last stage of feedback. And then feedback, it is a process whereby you will be responding to the original message which follows the process of decoding. And when the receiver is responding to the message, it marks to a two-way process communication whereby the receiver becomes the sender and the sender becomes the receiver. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very good. Yes, straightforward presentation. Right, move on. Our next presenter is Eva Test student where
Good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Mrs. Dubera for giving me the opportunity to present to you. My name is Eva Test and I'll be presenting on leadership. First of all, without wasting much of your time, I'll define what a leader is. A leader is defined as someone who influences people to work towards achieving a certain goal. Then moving forward, the following are the functions of leadership. A leader sets goals, for example, a leader sets goals for his subordinates to follow. Also, a leader monitors progress towards the goals. A leader also influences subordinates to do the required job. And a leader also maintains good interpersonal relationship between himself and the group, and also within the group. A leader also provides direct, through clear, and ambiguous goal. There are three main functions of leadership. We have what we call autocratic leadership, democratic, and laissez-faire. These I'll explain them in detail. An autocratic leader is a leader who sets goals, determines policies and strategies alone. This type of leader keeps himself aloof from the group, which means he doesn't involve his subordinates in making any decision, in sharing any views, when making a decision. And we find that in an autocratic leader, has one-way communication. Now, moving forward to democratic leadership. A democratic leader allows his subordinates to take part in decision-making. This also means that the subordinates are allowed to put their views, but a democratic leader has to make the final decision. And we find that in democratic leadership, there is two-way communication. Lastly, I've got what we call laissez-faire leadership. Laissez-faire, there is total freedom within the group where there is legal dependence to the leader. This also means that the leader does not participate or interfere with the workforce. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say the quality of leadership in any organization will determine its level of success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eva. Next presenter. Let's hear what she brings for us.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. All protocol observed. My name is Constance Ngwini. I'm going to present on a memorandum. Can you just read these copies? I'm going to present on a memorandum which I said before. I've chosen to tackle today's subject matter in a quite profound way. That is to say, my approach will attempt to answer the following 6 fundamental questions. First of all, I have what, who, when, how, where, and why. What is a memorandum? A memorandum, frequently known as a memo, it is a Latin word which is something to be remembered. I go on to what? Sorry? Who writes a memo? The sender of the message might be the admin officer. As you can look at your copies here, it's a called memorandum on top to all members of staff. The human resource or the admin officer is the one who is sending this memorandum to all the staff. And then when it is written, anytime when the message is to be conveyed within the organization. How? This format, when you are writing a memorandum, it has to be borderlines. As you can see here on this chart, you write the name of the organization, you skip a line, you write memorandum 2, like this one. And then, why is a memorandum written? It is written so as to inform people about company policies. Also, it is written to convey or send instructions within the organization to all staff members. Also, it is written to keep people informed of events in the organization that are taking place. The last point, it is written to remind people of issues previously discussed, e.g. in the last meeting. Why a memorandum? To sum up, there are also advantages of using a memorandum in an organization. It is simple to write. There are no postage expenses that are needed to write a memorandum. As you can see, you don't have to put in an envelope or a stamp, just write it and then you put maybe on a notice board. And then people will read that one. Also, messages are conveyed as fast as possible to all staff members. Thank you for listening.
Presentations are very beneficial. We are revising, isn't it? Others present, it reminds us of a lot of stuff that we did maybe even last year. So please, let's benefit from these presentations.
A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nobana Antoba, doing Purchasing and Supply Management, ND1. I'm going to present on leadership and its styles. Firstly, I'm briefly going to define what leadership is, as well as what a style is. Leadership, it is the influencing of one person to another to work towards some predetermined goal, whereas a style can be defined as behavior patterns observed on a leader or the manner in which a leader influences his subordinates. I thereby go on to define what leadership style is. Leadership style are the various behavior patterns favored by leaders during the process of directing and influencing subordinates. It also refers to the behaviors which are most typical across situations. We have 4 categories which falls under leadership styles, and these are autocratic leadership, democratic leadership, laissez-faire leadership, and charismatic leadership. I'll briefly describe on each leadership, starting with autocratic leadership. In autocratic leadership, in the leader alone sets the goals, determines the policy,
and makes plans. Plans are unfolded only a small step at a time so that the subordinates cannot see how their work fits into the overall plan. In this leadership, there is no two-way communication. Next, I'm going to talk about democratic leadership. Goal setting, policy making, and plans are a matter for young discussion and decision encouraged and assisted by the leader. The general steps and plans are discussed by all so that each member can see how their work fits in the overall plan. In this leadership, there is two-way communication and everybody communicates with everyone. Thirdly, I'm going to talk about laissez-faire leadership. The leader who uses this type of leadership has the role of a supporter, meaning he is a mere figure. He does not dictate procedures, but he believes that his workers will take responsibility and works towards organizational goals. Lastly, I'm going to talk about charismatic leadership. In charismatic leadership, it means the ability to inspire devotion of others, and so they will follow the lead. It is influenced by the leader. I thank you.
My name is Mr. I'm going to present on press release. During my presentation, I'm going to cover the definition of the press release, characteristics of the press release, the layout of the press release, and the importance of the press release. And I've got copies on original press release so that you can familiarize what's I've explained to make it easier for you to understand. Isn't it? Yes. Thank you for explaining. A press release is a newsworthy information or material that is sent by the public relations officer of an organization to the media for publication. It means that this information must be very informative nationwide, not to the organizations or to the departments. The characteristics are as follows. A press release must be very brief and short, which means your press release must not be too long in such a way that it can end up boring the readers. The use of simple language is very important. When writing a press release, you have to be very careful on use of jargon, use of vocabulary. You must use very simple language in a way that everyone can simply understand your message. It does not bear the name of the writer. A press release must also be very short, it's called short life, which means that your press release must be very currently informative, as it is with short life. The editor determines the layout. As the press release is done and free of charge, the editors are the ones who determine the layout. So there is no need to feel bother himself giving the layout. Some of the press release may carry pictures, but these ones are removed from no pictures. So you can have the press release with pictures, some of them do not have pictures. The importance of the press release are mainly for publicity. If the material is published in the mass, the organization will get an opportunity to communicate with its target publics. Secondly, it's free of charge. A press release is not paid for. Usually, it is released for free, since it is regarded as informative, hence useful to the society. The presentation of the